The ongoing military operations in Sri Lanka's north continue to keep internally displaced persons, families and local residents in conditions of great danger and deprivation. Recently, a high-profile delegation of inter-religious leaders came together to discuss possible religious initiatives to ease the plight of the trapped civilian population.
The religiously significant city of Anuradhapura was the chosen venue for a crisis meeting amongst religious leaders representing the north, east and south of Sri Lanka, affiliated to the World Conference of Religions for Peace. Held on the 23rd of November 2008, this conference was held to discuss how religious leaders could intervene to provide humanitarian assistance for civilians trapped by the fighting in the north.
I believe very strongly that our effort must be interreligious and it must be grassroots based. We can talk as leaders at one level, but the people who have to live this peace are at the very base, neighbors to each other, companions in school, students in the universities. They are the people who must live this peace.
As a concrete outcome of the conference, the religious leaders agreed to explore humanitarian initiatives to establish corridors of movement and safety zones for the affected people to be discussed with the conflicting parties. They proposed meeting with the President, leader of the opposition, the LTTE and other relevant political leaders.
Here today, now, we have the possibility, you as religious leaders working together, of facilitating discussions between the government and the LTTE for the creation of a humanitarian corridor, a space, a corridor where innocent people can take protection from the war. They are not the combatants in the war, they are vulnerable to the war.
Back in Colombo, the meetings took place with the President and other political leaders in the south. Following these developments, the Religions for Peace Inter-Religious Council of Sri Lanka appraised the media on the outcome of the meetings by convening a press conference on the 26th of November.
We had a meeting with opposition leader and also TNA. And important outcome of these series of meetings is for Sri Lankan religious leaders in the Inter-Religious Council of Sri Lanka will dispatch multi-religious delegation to facilitate dialogue with the LTTE for the creation of humanitarian corridors and non-military zones. So this mission will be taking place soon, and in our conversation with the President, President was open to this idea.
The Religions for Peace Inter-Religious Council have also requested the President to formally recognize the Council to be an official observer to the All-Party Representative Conference and to allow it to negotiate with the LTTE for the facilitation of non-military zones.
අපි උත්සාහ කරනවා දෙපාර්ශ්වයටම LTT නායකත්වයටත් ඒකම රජයටත් අපි ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා මේ මිනිස්සුන්ගේ ඒ තත්වයෙන් ඒ අය මුදා ගන්න ඒ අයට කැමති පිළිවෙලට ඒ සටන්කාමී ප්‍රදේශවලින් ඉවත් වෙලා තමන්ගේ එදිනෙදා ජීවිත ගොඩනගා ගන්න අවකාශ සලසන්න කියලා දෙපාර්ශ්වයටම අපි කියන්නේ මේ ජනතාවට ගිහිල්ලා බෝම්බ ප්‍රහාරයේ දේවල් වලින් නිදහස්ව ජීවත් වෙන්න තමන්ගේ දරුවන්ගේ අධ්‍යාපන කටයුතු තමන්ගේ එදිනෙදා ජීවිත කටයුතු කරගෙන යන්නට ඒ අයට ඒ ස්ථාන කරා ඇදෙන්නට යන්නට ඉඩ සලස්සන්න කියන එක
මේ රැකවරණ සොයාගෙන එන අහිංසක අසරණ ජනතාවට අපි කොහොමද උදව් කරන්නේ දැන් මේ දවස්වල උතුරේ තාම දරුණු වැස්ස. ගම් වතුර ගලනවා. දැන් මේ අය අප්‍රමාණ දුකක් විඳිනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ අයට පිහිටවීම අපේ පරම යුතුයකම.
It's important for the government to give us clearance to go to LTT control area and meet with LTT leadership and come up with concrete plan for humanitarian response. This humanitarian response, multi-religious humanitarian response, may pave the way for ultimate political solution.
Religious leaders are important pillars in any society, and particularly so in Sri Lanka. It is to be hoped that their united efforts in decrying the humanitarian situation in the north and urging parties in conflict to respect humanitarian laws will make a difference.
Differences there can be, but doesn't matter. But there is not only to be worried about the differences and the divergences, but then there is also a strong convergence in the religions. There are points on which all of us agree, whether it is non-violence or peace or fraternal living and so on. There are many points of convergence where we meet, where we can come together. So why not explore those possibilities and work towards peace? That's the attempt.